The Pod Squad.
The Pod Squad.
The Pod Squad.
The Pod Squad. It's the Pod Squad. The Pod Squad.
Fingers.
Okay, so we're back. Sorry, guys, we have to start this over, but yeah, we have some technical difficulties. So again, this is the Day of the Dead show. I guess we all got this idea from just the fact that we've been losing so many great, talented, entertainers lately. I'm getting tongue-tied. The most recent one being Eddie Van Halen, one of the greats in rock and roll.
That's Susan's cat.
So we start off sharing some of our thoughts or memories on Eddie Van Halen, and then something happened and we got cut off, or my recording I had some recording issues. So Mike is going to have to tell us his story again because it was a good one, and we're going to have to just all act very surprised when.
Okay. Do we need to wake up the cat first?
Yeah, I think we need to wake up the kitty cat. So yeah, I guess Mike, you want to?
Okay. So let me see. Long time ago.
A long time ago.
1982. I was driving a cab and going to San Antonio College, taking art and photography classes. And the night before Van Halen was supposed to play, I was downtown, saw the tour buses rolling in. I knew they were Van Halen's buses. I knew they were coming. I saw them rolling in off the highway, followed them to their destination, which was at the time the Four Seasons Hotel. Marriott Hotel now. There at South Alamo.
Sorry, Mike. The kitty's like really.
I can tell this story 4 times.
Kitty over to the side. So you were.
You're following the buses.
Yeah, I'm following the buses, staking out the hotel. Didn't see nothing that night. The next morning, bright and early, I was a night driver. I used to drive at night after my classes, but not this day. I probably skipped classes that day too, just to go back to the hotel at 7, 8 a.m. As early as I remember, I got up earlier. Like I knew they were there. I wanted to be there. I was in line in a little taxi stand. The cab in front of me gets called to the front. Lo and behold, Mike Anthony and one of his roadies come out of the hotel. The bellman puts them in the cab with their golf clubs. They shoot off to Pecan Valley Golf Course on the southeast side of town, which just closed recently. If I'm not mistaken, I saw a newscast about that. I was all giddy, starstruck. This is about 8 years before I actually got into the concert industry. So I was just a fan back then, an 18-year-old college kid. I get on the cab radio, talk to the guy. Fortunately, it was we drove for the same company, so we were able to communicate. And you know, begged him to get me an autograph from the guy in his cab, and he did. He dropped them off to play their golf. He was supposed to return to pick them up when they called in a few hours. In the meantime, he came back downtown, parked back at the hotel, because that hotel he saw was a buzz of activity. Even though he was an elderly cab driver, he didn't know who Van Halen was, or probably could care less. But I was there because I knew what was going on. And I talked to him. He told me he had to go back for them, and I begged him, please, please, please let me go pick him up. And he did. He let me go. He goes, yeah, go pick him up for me. When they call, he goes, you go get him. So I was able to pick up Mike Anthony and his roadie and their golf clubs and put them in my cab. And if you don't believe me, here's the proof. There's Mike Anthony sitting in the back seat of my cab. I'm supposed to be driving, but I'm facing back, taking a picture. Sure was at the red light there. Pretty sure we were at South Cross and Goliad right there, driving back. You see the old stop and go through the window in the background.
Awesome.
So that's Mike Anthony in my cab. So I take him back. On the way back, you know, I had a Hit Parader Circus magazine in the car, which I probably picked up on the way to go get him. He signed it over Eddie Van Halen's picture. You know, I don't know if it comes out, but there's a Mike Anthony autograph. And I haven't seen this in years. It's been stored away in years. I can't even read it. But trust me, it's his autograph, and I can't read what he says. So I get him back to the hotel. We're unloading. You know, we had made small talk. Oh, something I left out earlier. While we're in the cab, I had seen them before in concert. And Mike Anthony, when I'd seen him in a previous show, Running with the Devil, the bass, boom, 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 boom. He would do it with his teeth, with the guitar up on his teeth. And I told him I really got a kick out of that when he did that, when I'd seen him a year earlier or prior, you know, the prior show when they were in San Antonio. And he goes, oh, I hadn't done that in a long time. I might do that tonight. He did. He did it that night. So I'd like to think I played a part in that. Yeah. So, I left that out of the earlier story. So we're back at the hotel. He's unloading his stuff. I am getting to Eddie Van Halen for those that are watching. I know I'm talking about Mike Anthony, but I'm getting there. He unloads the bellman, the roadie unloads his golf clubs, 2 sets of golf clubs. He promises me some tickets. Gets my name. He's gonna leave them at will call. He walks off. The roadie lags behind, comes to me, and before I get back in my car to drive away, and says, write down your name for me. He goes, he might forget. So I'm glad I did, because when I went to will call later that afternoon, early evening before the show, I went to will call, sold out show, people clamoring at the ticket booth for tickets, and they're not getting any. I muscle my way to the window, and there's 2 tickets waiting for me at will call. Nice. People are looking at me, offering me money, blah, 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 and sorry, these are mine, you know. I got to go see the show, and while I'm inside, Mike Anthony and I, they were like maybe 6th or 8th row seats, right up front. Weren't front row, but they were good seats, right center stage, right up front. I know he made eye contact with me and pointed at me because he recognized me from me. This is the kid that drove me in the cab earlier in the day. So that's my encounter with Mike. The rest of the day, I was just starstruck fan. Like there were probably 50 or 100 people out at the hotel at any given time, waiting for a glimpse of them coming and going. There was a lot of comings and goings of, you know, band and crew in and out of the hotel all day. It's just a buzz of activity. You know, you got long-haired rockers walking around guitars, hoping to get it signed by Eddie or whatever. And got groupies everywhere and roadies hanging off the balcony, partying and inviting the girls up. They didn't invite us up. They're, yo, come on, Eddie. So, but usually, and I learned this later, they have a sound check in the afternoon about 2 or 3 o'clock. Shows usually start around 7. Main act comes on around 9, depending on how many opening acts you are. So I'm going to say they were going to sound check. Alex comes out by himself, Alex Van Halen, and gets into the black car, Cadillac black car service. I'm trying to do it without the glare from the lamp. Very bad picture, I know, but
there we go.
Trust me.
Right there. Now we can see it.
Trust me, that's Alex getting into the car. And then a couple minutes later, here's where we get to Eddie. Eddie comes out, and people just go nuts when Eddie and Valerie Berlinelli, his wife at the time, come out. I tried to get a picture of them up front, but this fella, his bodyguard with the white stripes right here where my finger's at, got in my face, put his hands in front of me, didn't let me take a clear picture up front. But I did get a picture of them as they were walking past me from behind. That is Eddie Van Halen's elbow and watch. That's his wife, the back of her head. Valerie Bertinelli's hair, and a little bit of Eddie's hair too. It's kind of dark. I probably can't see it. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was the epitome, the highlight of my paparazzi career. If you guys want to hire a good photographer, I'm your man, because I can get you shots like this all day long.
I think it says a lot about Eddie, how great and how much people love him, that you kept that picture, even though it's not a good picture. You kept it. That's pretty cool.
To me, that's a picture of Eddie.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's a picture of Eddie. You know, I've been in commercials and stuff where I've had like background extra parts, and I look like a little Q-tip in the very back somewhere. Nobody knows it's me. Yeah, that's so-and-so A-list actor. That's her scene or his scene. That's me back. I know it's me. Nobody else knows it's me. I know it's me. That's the way life goes, you know. I know this is Eddie. I'm telling you, this is Eddie. That's Eddie's elbow. That's one of Eddie's arms and hands that played that guitar like a wizard.
Yes.
That is it. So that's my Eddie Van Halen, Michael Anthony Van Halen, Alex Van Halen, the band story. I did see David Lee Roth after the show later in the day walking from the convention center back to the hotel. He didn't get in a car or bus or anything. He walked back all sweaty. Looked like he didn't even like shower at the dressing room or nothing. Looked like he walked straight off the stage and started walking back to his hotel. And of course, the more he walked, the bigger the crowd got around him. I did get a glimpse of that, but didn't get a picture of that. I didn't have my camera on me. They don't let you take cameras into the concert, so I didn't get a picture of David. I do have a Daily Roth story from years later. When he was a solo act, I actually had front row tickets for that, and somebody in the front row had like one of those cup holder trays that you get at Sonic or whatever. Well, they had it full of cups of like this glitter concoction party thing. And he kept throwing them on stage. And David kept kicking them off. And David was on a surfboard hoisted overhead over us. And one of those cups was on the ground. I picked it up and chucked it. And you know, like that trick with the water bottle that lands on its feet, that lands straight up?
Yeah. That's
what happened to this glitter cup. It landed on the surfboard, and David picked it up and sprinkled it over the crowd and threw it away. That's my David Ross interaction. I almost forgot about that one. But that was years later, a different show, maybe 10 years, 10 years later, after he had gone solo. Yep. So that's my Van Halen story.
Like I said, the man of 1,000 tales, 1,000 stories. Wow.
That the only one I guess I didn't interact with would be Alex. And I don't know if you want to call a bodyguard roadie pushing me to the side and Eddie passing by as I took a picture and interaction, but I guess that's it vaguely qualifies as an interaction. I got a picture. So I'm happy with that.
That's good enough. Yep.
I got to see him, but I didn't get a good picture of him. Got to see him up close and personal. Yep. That's it. That's my story.
Sticking to
Very
it.
good.
Sticking to it.
So you scored some really good
Good, yeah.
almost front row tickets and got a picture of an elbow.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody's jealous of that.
Yeah, that's it.
And you had a brush with greatness there for a second or two. So
And this shows the era that I had. I was an art student, so this is some of the art that I was doing back then. It's upside down. So I was like, well, I need to frame this, but I didn't have a frame or didn't want to go buy one, so I just covered up my artwork with Van Halen, and I took it out so y'all could see it because this thing is so old, yellow, and cloudy, scratched.
I think it's time for you to get a new frame.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy a nice frame for this.
Do Eddie Eddie some justice there and get yourself a new frame.
By Hobby Lobby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm gonna go buy. I'm gonna go to a frame shop and have one made.
Pretty good. Cool. So Victor, you started telling us your story, and then that's where we got cut off.
Yeah. Well, so I don't have a up close and personal moment with the band or Eddie Van Halen, but I just remember. Well, first of all, everybody remembers the first time they heard Eddie Van Halen play on the radio or wherever it was, because his playing was so unique and so amazing. It just blows you away. You know, Eruption and all the other solos that he did were just incredible. But back in the 80s, there used to be this rock festival that would tour. I guess they toured the country, but I guess in different states, they call it different things. I don't know. But when they would come to Texas, they would always play the Cotton Bowl and Rice Stadium in Houston. And it was called Monsters of Rock. And I was graduating from high school around that time, and my best friend and I would rent a car, I think about 2-3 years in a row, and we would drive up to Cotton Bowl and get a room and drive back the next day, you know, because it was an all-day festival. And one of those festivals was Van Halen, and this is when they were supporting the 51-50 album with Sammy Hagar. So David Lee Roth wasn't with him, but I remember getting a chance to see him live, and of course, you know, all the videos you see don't do him justice. As good as those videos are, those concert videos are, when you see him live, it's pretty amazing. And we weren't even that close at the time, because those Monsters of Rock tours, it was general admission. So what you would do is you go in and you slowly work your way up to the stage, but it was like war, because it's shoulder to shoulder. It's one person falls down, the whole crowd shifts, and you can literally be lifted up off your feet and move back and forth. And if you fell down, well, start praying, because people were going to step on you, and it was dangerous. People were getting picked up and carried literally out because they would faint. It was middle of the summer, Texas summer, and they would hose people down that were near the stage with literally between bands with a fire hose, just to keep them cool, because it was brutal. But it's rock and roll. You know, it's one of those pilgrimages that you make. And we were still in the middle of working our way up close to the stage when they hit the stage. But anyway, near or far, Van Halen was awesome. Okay, the band, Eddie, unbelievable show, great show. And like I was saying on Facebook, that, you know, you have these celebrities, these people that you're fans of, that you just think they're always going to be around. And then when they're not around, it's like a family member passed away, because they mean so much to you. Like Stevie Ray Vaughan was a Texas guy, so when he passed away, it hit me really hard. And although Eddie was in Texas, he was a badass, you know. And he was such an original guy and such an influential guy, and like I said, an icon. Now that he's gone, it's kind of hard to imagine what the world of music's going to be like without him, you know. And like I borrowed a line from another song. It's a blues song that goes, "Heaven done called another six stringer back home," because I'm thinking the best place to watch a concert right now is heaven. So I almost wish, you know, someday I'll be up there jamming listening to those guys play. You know, I'll have to do with who's left here, but someday we're all going to go up there and that's going to be one hell of a show up there.
It is.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
Definitely.
The passing of Eddie just really,
Well, it's such a shock because just like to me, just like Chadwick Boseman, I didn't know that he was that sick. And he was what, 60, like 62 or something?
Yeah, 65.
65. And I was like, what? How did that happen? How did I didn't realize he was that. I mean, I knew he had been ill, but not to the point where, like Victor was saying earlier, that he was on his way out. It's like, wow.
It's one of those things you mark time. Like, where were you when? And I remember where I was and what I was doing with John Lennon. I heard the Lennon about John Lennon and Stevie Ray Vaughan. And I just gotten out of work the other day, and a coworker comes up to me and says, "I have bad news for you." And of course, I thought they were talking about work-related stuff.
Yeah.
No, what now? And then she told me Eddie passed away, and I was like, "What?" And because I knew he was ill, I just didn't know he was that close to leaving us, and that was a shock. It was just terrible. I'll remember that moment, unfortunately, for a long, long time.
I was blindsided. It shook me up a little bit. I was not expecting that one. You would think these guys are going to live forever, but like the Rolling Stones. But they,
those guys drink formaldehyde, I think.
I don't know what they do.
I think they have a deal with the devil, and that's what's
vampires. They might be vampires.
Yeah. Susan, do you have a story, an Eddie Van Halen memory or something to share?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not as world traveled as you guys.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be an I actually met them type of thing. Because I never went to I never went to a concert. I really haven't been to many concerts. They're always way too expensive for me, and time-wise, I never have time. So, I mean, the people that I have seen, they're memorable concerts to me, but definitely, in the 80s, especially, being in high school and hearing their music, it was like, that's one of the sounds, of the 80s. So it just marks, time passing. It's very sad, but yeah, I mean, back then, I guess I didn't really know how great he was until much later when I really started learning like guitar, because then I saw the skill that went into playing, and not that I'm nowhere near that kind of talent. Guitar wise, I can pick a little bit and strum, but but just to see him go, that definitely, I mean, you see the skill, you see the talent. But back then for me, I guess when I first started hearing about him, it was, he was Valerie Bertinelli's husband. Barbara Cooper got married to a rock star. What? What? She was like the all-American girl on TV, and so that's when I first started hearing about them. But definitely, once I got into high school, you heard that music everywhere. So it definitely, throws me back to the 80s. And I don't know what the first song was. Probably Dance the Night Away was probably the first one I remember. And then after that, yeah, I mean, he just rocked on, and he'll rock on forever. And so.
Yeah.
No big stories from me. No elbow pictures or or front row seats or anything like that. But
You don't have a picture of Eddie's wristwatch? What?
no, not even his ankle.
So I think one of the reasons I mean, of course, loving the music and the scene, the vibe, you know, but one of the factors of getting into the concert music industry was because tickets were expensive. And I was like, if I'm going to see these bands,
Yeah.
I got to figure a way to get in there with that, because you can't always afford tickets. Even back then, the tickets were like $10. That was still a lot of money back then.
Back then, yeah, I remember that. It's like $10. I can't afford $10 to go see.
And now it's like $180 for a ticket.
Yeah.
I wish they were $10 again, but yeah, that was one.
They were $10.
I'm so old. What, Susan?
They were $10.
They were $10 bucks. I remember $10-15 tickets, and I was like, who in the world has that kind of money?
I also saw Rush when they first played in San Antonio at Randy's Rodeo on Broadway, and he has the ticket stub still, and he had to wait for his nephew to grow up and get him backstage to meet the band and get the ticket stub autographed all these years later. But that ticket cost him $2.50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Imagine that. So yeah, that was definitely a factor for me. It was like, I want to get a job there. I don't care if I have to sell popcorn, but at least you get a free show out of it. You know? And a lot of people, that's what they do. They get jobs as working concessions, usher, whatever, because they get to watch the free concert or the basketball game.
Yeah, I didn't know that life hack until way later. So I should have known it back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jose, you have a story for us?
But I didn't really have a story at first because I was listening to you guys and I was just thinking about how much of a big influence Eddie was on me as far as playing the guitar and kind of appreciating what the guy did. But as you guys were talking, I do remember a story. It's kind of indirectly a little bit having to do with Eddie Van Halen, but I know Victor was talking a little while ago about that Monsters of Rock tour. And I remember I was hanging out with a buddy of mine many years ago, and he was telling me that he went to the Monsters of Rock tour and that he got to see Van Halen, and he was there. I guess it was like out in a field, I guess like an open field sort of thing, so they didn't have seats. And the guy was there watching them, and supposedly, Eddie Van Halen wiped himself with a towel at the end of the show, and he threw it out into the crowd. And my buddy said that he caught it. And of course, we're kind of like ribbing each other, and I'm telling him, that's bullshit. You didn't catch the towel. And, well, he runs in the house and he comes out with his towel, right? It looks like one that he stole from like the Days Inn or something. And he showed me this towel, and he's like, "This is the one I got, man. This is the one that did." So, and I don't know if he washed it either because I touched it. So I may have indirectly touched DNA that belonged to Van Halen. I don't know for sure, but
you may have.
And the guy was like, it's in his Van Halen set. So, I don't know, but that's the only story I have. I just remember that from when Victor mentioned the Monsters of Rock tour, that story popped into my head. So I may have indirectly touched Van Halen's DNA. If it was true that he had put it, wiped his sweat with it.
You didn't have it enclosed in plastic and stuff? Sealed.
You can see the condensation inside the plastic bag, it's just like still holding the sweat in there.
Oh my God.
And frame it into old art.
Yeah, it's like,
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, Eddie was a big influence on me and his music. And I heard the other day this guy was talking about him, kind of doing like a tribute to him. And he was saying, if you're a guitar player, you appreciate other guitar players. He goes, but if you were to name these other famous guitar players, nobody else would really know about them. He mentioned like Steve Vai or Joe Satriani and these guys. And only if you play guitar, you appreciate them. But Eddie was different because everybody could appreciate his music and what he wrote and all the things that he did. There's so many different things that he did, but ultimately it was the music that he wrote that a lot of people just could connect to. You could ask anybody, a grandma, grandpa, cousins, aunts, and everybody's heard of the band or heard a song of the band. And I think that's how that kind of tells you like what kind of an impact the guy had.
and I heard just this morning I was driving around on the radio, they were saying that tablature was invented because of Eddie Van Halen, because
Wow.
he didn't read music. I guess he didn't write music if he didn't read it. And so when they wanted to write sheet music for his guitar playing, they couldn't figure out how to notate those strange sounds that were coming out of his guitar. So they actually invented tablature to show people, okay, this is where you put your fingers to play those sounds. That's amazing.
But I thought he played another instruments.
Keyboard.
So,
Well, he
Keyboard,
started off playing drums.
Yep.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You did do keyboards and synthesizers.
Yeah, he started out playing drums, and his brother actually played guitar. And at some point, when they were little, they switched.
Yep.
Oh.
Right, I remember hearing that story.
And then he learned. He knew how to play the piano. His dad was a jazz musician, played jazz clarinet.
There you go. Talent in the family.
Yeah.
They were a musical family.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember when he first played the keyboards on, was it Jump?
Yeah.
I remember reading an article or maybe it was an interview on MTV back in the day, but David Lee Roth was like giving him a hard time, telling him, "You're a guitar god. Nobody wants to see you play keyboards." So, but you know, that's just David.
Yeah.
He could do it all, really. He could probably still play those drums if he wanted to, you know, anytime. His brother was an amazing drummer, but like you said, he started off as a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad they switched.
Yeah.
The world is happy they switched. Yeah. Well, so then let's. I'm going to take a little. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there we go. Magical shot in memory of Eddie Van Halen.
Eddie.
Eddie.
So I have a little towel story to go along with Jose. It wasn't Van Halen. It was I was backstage working New Kids on the Block.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
Oh, Susan's getting excited about that one.
Going back to, I had another job along with doing that work, and going back to the office the following Monday or whatever it was, and we had a receptionist, and she had a teenage or preteen daughter that was all into that group at the time, and I was teasing her. I probably didn't even have one. I'm sure I didn't save a New Kids on the Block sweaty towel. I think I was telling her that I had one, and she started offering me all kinds of money for it. And I kept like, nope, not enough. We were like up in like $100, and she wanted that towel that I probably didn't even really have. I was just teasing her. Mom finally told her, he's just going to bring you some towel from his house and spray some water on it, and you're going to give him $100 for it? Are you serious? But we had stuff like that all the time where you could pick up whatever you wanted backstage because so-and-so drank out of that Coke can, or so-and-so wiped himself with that towel, or whatever, you know, or that popsicle stick, you know, so-and-so from Metallica ate that popsicle, or whatever. You know, we always would joke about stuff like that. And if there was ways to prove it, I guess now you can take a picture of just about anybody doing anything, but back then you didn't have that luxury. But you know, one man's trash or other man's treasure. You pick it out of the trash and send it on eBay if you can prove that so and so sat there or did whatever. Anyway, when you told your towel story, that's what it reminds me. I almost sold a towel to some preteen girl for $100. And it was probably going to be a fake. But no. I was just teasing her. I wouldn't do that to anybody.
So those are our Eddie Van Halen stories. Do we want to mention anybody else who we've lost this year? I think we already mentioned, I mentioned Chadwick Boseman.
Johnny Nash passed away the day after Eddie passed away.
Yes, you're right. Yes, I forgot about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was a great from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
Definitely.
great loss.
Yeah.
Who else?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean,
I was looking up the list last night. I found like Neil Peart, Bill Withers,
Yeah.
Brian Dennehy, Little Richard, Jerry Stiller, who was on Seinfeld,
Yes.
Fred Willard,
Yeah.
Carl Reiner, Regis Philbin,
Yeah.
Frankie Banali from Quiet Riot. I don't know if you guys ever remember that band.
Sure.
Robert Conrad, since Susan was talking about his tight pants the other day. Rocky Johnson, who was The Rock's father, but he was also a great wrestler in his own right too.
Right.
Kobe Bryant, Max von Sydow. I don't know if you guys know him. He was in a lot of movies like Flash Gordon. He was the Ming, the Merciless.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's in a lot of movies. When you see the guy, he's one of those guys like, oh, I know that guy, but I don't really remember his name. And then Chadwick Boseman and Kenny Rogers also. Forget about Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers.
Ellen Reddy.
There's also
Ellen Reddy.
Sam Lloyd also passing.
John Lewis, representative. John Lewis.
Yes.
March with Martin Luther King.
RBG.
RBG. How did I forget
RBG,
that?
yeah.
How did I forget her? Oh my God.
So many.
Yeah,
Been a rough year.
it has been. Yeah.
Well, I think they all deserve a toast.
I
There you
think
go.
so. There's the magic shot again.
The greats.
And Melinda, you're going to pass out by the end of the podcast.
I know, right?
That's your fault.
Good. I'm good. Trust me, it's not really liquor.
A&W.
I brought my Day of the Dead candle.
Ooh,
Oh, that's nice.
it's nice.
There we go. Huge one. Got it lit and going. And yeah, so definitely, I mean, it has been a rough year, 2.5 more months to go. Hopefully that's the end of it and we won't see any more, genius, great talents leaving.
Well, certainly a lot to talk about this because Day of the Dead celebrates those who have passed away. So I guess it's going to be a special occasion this year.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually putting something together for my students at school. So we're planning a little. Oh my God, my brain has just not been working correctly. An ofrenda. Oh my God, I couldn't remember the word. We're planning an ofrenda for Day of the Dead. So I'll be taking lots of pictures of people definitely who have passed on that I've admired, celebrities that really stand out to me, and I'll be taking my candle. So hopefully they'll understand. They'll get a little understanding of what of how important some of these people were. Some of them to history, some of them just to our own personal histories, and just culture wise. Big losses. So I think it's time to move on to something a little more.
Just for those who don't know, though, Day of the Dead this year is October 31st and ends Monday, November 2nd, the actual observance. They call it day, but it's actually 3 days, it looks like. Days of the Dead.
Days of the Dead. It's supposed to be actually the first. The 31st is the Eve. That's why it's called Halloween, because it was All Hallows Eve.
Hallows Eve, correct?
Yeah, and so it was meant to be celebrated for the first and the second, which is All Saints Day and All Souls Day. In I guess in Catholic tradition.
It's a Mexican holiday celebrated throughout Mexico, particularly the South.
But it has spread, for sure. It has spread. Even here in San Antonio, we had, last year we had what was it called? The Muertos Fest? Day of the Dead Fest? Yeah. Which was really cool. I went downtown and and walked around the festival, and it was very, very interesting, and saw all kinds of artwork and performances, and they had stuff going down on the river. But this year, unfortunately, that's not
going to happen.
Because it's going to be on a weekend this year, and they're not going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Very sad. But
one of the ways they celebrate it is by creating altars. And you can see one, I believe it's there year round, there at Market Square at Mi Tierra, in that little foyer area. I believe they keep theirs up all year.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that. I rarely ever go there except, on special occasions.
I could be mistaken, but I know I've seen it there on several occasions. So I'm suspecting they keep it up there, unless just coincidentally I happen to go by Mi Tierra around same time every year, Halloween or what have you.
If we have any viewers who aren't San Antonians, Mi Tierra is a local restaurant.
Well established
San
Antonio institution.
If you come here as a tourist, you probably heard of this.
You need to go check it out. There's other
celebrities too. I mean, celebrities go down there all the time when they come into town.
Easy Top.
Yeah.
President Clinton, they have a picture of Clinton in there.
Yep.
Photographed wearing a Mi Tierra shirt while he was out on a jog somewhere back in wherever, Washington, Arkansas, somewhere else. But he took a Mi Tierra shirt home with him, and they photographed him wearing it while he was jogging. But am I the only one that suspected that the costume designers or the folks behind Beetlejuice stole his style from Day of the Dead?
No, I don't think necessarily it was from that. There's
a lot of similarities.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely, it's crept in and influenced a lot of artists for sure. I mean, that's, that was Posada's artwork way back in the day. Back in like the 1800s or whatever, and slowly started creeping into Mexican culture and then spread here. And so now it's really all over the place.
But I remember when Beetlejuice first came out, that was one of the first things that struck me. Oh, that looks like a Day of the Dead kind of.
Yeah, I don't think Beetlejuice was, but perhaps Nightmare. Nightmare Before Christmas, yeah.
That was
Skellington, yeah. I would think that's. If I wasn't influenced by Day of the Dead, then I don't know where he's getting his ideas.
Coincidence.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's all over, and
I think it's more popular now since that movie Coco came out a few years back. Yeah. So I think a lot of people are more familiar with it now. Especially people.
Yeah. So if you don't know the history of Day of the Dead, or at least some of the symbolism and things that are used, watch Coco.
Yeah. Good movie.
Yep.
Very good.
Okay, so we wanted to do a quick little segment on urban legends, local urban legends, only because it's getting close to Halloween. Actually, by the time you see this, Halloween will be over, probably, but we're doing our Day of the Dead show a little early. Yeah, so do you want to, anybody wants to go first with their story? Everybody stops talking. It's like, well.
I have one, sure.
You do? Okay.
I felt like I took the lion's share of the time on the last segment, so I was waiting for somebody else if they wanted to speak first. But I got one. If you guys want me to go first. So does anybody remember Midget Mansion? Anybody remember that one?
Never saw
I heard of it, but I never knew what it was.
It was an old house, and I meant to Google it. I've read the article before. Maybe I can look it up real quick. And
I actually asked about this with another group of friends a couple days back, and I was surprised nobody knew what it was.
Shouldn't it be called Little Person Mansion?
Yes, that was one of the
not politically
I said,
correct.
well,
Gotta be
we
careful.
wouldn't say midget mansion anymore. It would be little people.
That's what it was
Dwarf
called.
Mansion.
That doesn't sound scary though.
Little Person
That
Mansion.
person.
True.
It doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
No.
Quite roll off the tongue. So it was a mansion that was built by a little person. The doorways and the frames and everything was to accommodate a smaller person. And he used to sit, and this is, you know, people that aren't from here that are watching from other parts are not going to know, but northwest side of San Antonio Medical Center sat on a hill back behind the Denman estate. There's Denman Park there, all those Victorian homes that were back there. A lot of them have been knocked down. Now they have condos and apartments, and there's a Lowe's, Home Depot, a Lowe's in that corner where it used to be. But the year was, I'm going to take a guess, 1979. Midget Mansion was a popular destination for neighborhood teenage kids that like to go cruise in the city. Of course, we used to cruise the Strip on the south side of town, Southwest Military Drive. We used to cruise Brackenridge Park on Sundays. But one of the things that people would do would either go to the Ghost Tracks or go to Midget Mansion. This particular day, we decided to pile into one of my buddies' Chevy Malibu, all muscle carred up with the big fat tires in the back and the cherry bomb muffler, blah, 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 blah. That was what we cruised around in those days. It was myself, it was 5 of us. My sister, her best friend, Martha, my sister's boyfriend at the time, his name was Roland. The guy that owned the car, which I can't remember his name right now, Bob, I think it was, and myself. I was the young kid that Mom used to tell my sister, take your brother, you can't go. So I was like maybe, so if it was 1978, I was like 14. We're in this car. We're driving out to Midget Mansion. We get to the base of the hill. We park at the base of the hill. We walk up the dirt trail. We go into the mansion. Of course, it's an old dilapidated building now, abandoned mansion. We have strips of newspaper or cloth that we're burning with our Zippos. I don't think Bics were popular back then. They may be, but I remember carrying Zippos back in the day, Zippo lighters that you had to refuel with butane. And that's how we were walking around the basement halls in this creepy old place. And it was scary, but we were there and we were in it. And kids used to line the streets leading up to it and drink on the sides of the road. And that was just it was just a destination for young people, you know, to go with their friends. And at the time, it was considered the outskirts of town, so you kind of got away from the authorities and stuff, so you thought. Okay, we're in there a few minutes. We didn't do anything crazy in there, like set the building on fire, which we very easily could have with all the trash and debris on the floor, and we're using fire so we can see our way around. We start to make our exit out of the, I don't know if it was a front entrance or back entrance, out of the mansion. And all of a sudden, pow, we get hit with floodlights and a loudspeaker. Freeze! I don't think it was the police. I think it was private security. I'm not sure. Could have been SAPD. It could have been the sheriff's department. It could have been just private security supposed to guard the place. Freeze. Of course, teenage kids don't listen. We all start running like roaches. And all of a sudden we hear pop, 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 which sounds like gunshots. My sister freezes in her tracks and I'm behind her and I just push her and I go, keep going. They're not shooting at us. Their warning shots in the air was they're not going to shoot at teenagers, just in the back. I could have been wrong. I don't know. But we're running full speed. Now we're going down this hill trying to get back. And I'm talking about a steep hill because this thing was perched on top of a little mountain. For Texas, it's a mountain. For anybody else, it's a hill. So we're running down this thing through the brush, through the dirt trails. I'm like a gazelle. I'm leaping 6 feet over bushes and small trees, and how I stayed on my feet, I do not know, because the inertia of my body was moving faster than my legs. But my sister fell, Martha fell. I kept running. My sister's got a boyfriend. He can go back and pick her up, which he didn't even see my sister. I kept going. That's what a chicken I was. I kept going. I'm the first one back to the hot rod Malibu. Everybody else eventually gets back on their feet or regroups and makes it down to the car. We jump in and we drive away. Never saw who flashed us with lights or shot warning shots or whatever. We got away and we drove back and we laughed about it. But that's my midget mansion story.
Wow.
True story.
So for those of you,
my sister's downstairs. I'd like to bring her up here. She'll probably be embarrassed if I remind her of it.
I don't know if y'all can see. Let's see.
Yeah, that's the place. And if you want to read it,
yeah.
I meant to read a little bit on the history of it. I don't know if you want to do that, Belinda.
So it says a lot of crazy shit went down at Midget Mansion. Sure, we've all heard of Midget Mansion, but does anyone really know what went down there? No, but that doesn't stop us from coming up with wacky scenarios. Also known as Gillespie Mansion, the urban legend got its pop culture name due to its built with low-hanging fixtures and ceilings made especially for the little people couple that lived there along with their non-little people children. Rumor has it that the father went mad one day and murdered his entire family. The house stood vacant for many decades, where many ghosts were said to have been seen. Don't try finding out for yourself either. So apparently now the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center stands there.
Okay.
Wow.
I wasn't aware of that, but
well, that would make it. That's over there off of I-10 and Vance Jackson, which
yeah,
I may have my locations. I always thought it was over there by I-10 and Callahan, but according to that article, it's further in.
Yeah, no, I thought it was like you said, like near Callahan.
Yeah, I thought it was off of Spencer Lane. I remember the road Spencer Lane that goes around through the back of Cinnamon, whatever. I can't remember the name of the
street. Well, Mike, either you've been so traumatized that you're just like not thinking clearly, or
that article,
or they got their story wrong. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go with your story.
It's somewhere in that vicinity. It's not that far away, but it's not where I was remembering it being. But I'm not gonna argue with anybody that says differently because I'm not 100% sure. But it was definitely there, and I was there in it. We got chased out of it by somebody.
Somebody who was not a ghost.
I was the first one back to the car, and I'm glad my sister made it. I'm glad she had a boyfriend that cared enough to go back and pick her up. Because I would have left her. Every man for yourself. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
But we all made it back to the car. Nobody got in trouble. Nobody got hurt. And it was just one of those stories when you get back in the car and drive away and make it back to your neighborhood. You laugh about it. But boy, we were scared when.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
We're more scared of whoever was flashing us with the spotlights than actually being in there. But that was enough of a buildup of fear. And then the icing on the cake was, of course, when we came out of it and found out we weren't the only ones up on that hill. There was somebody else up there. And who knows who they were? I don't know. I always assumed it was some kind of security or law enforcement. Who knows who that was that told us to freeze and flashed us with lights and.
It was the little people who were coming back.
And and I was convinced they weren't really shooting at us. They were shooting in the air, but warning shots to get us to stop. Who knows? Maybe they were shooting.
It was the little people. They were mad that you were in their property, so
who knows?
They were shooting at your ankles.
Yeah.
I think the little people were long gone. That
Hey.
place had been abandoned for decades. Like the article said, that place looked like it had been abandoned. And it stood
Hey,
there
Belinda.
for a long time. And if you had the guts and you wanted to go up that hill and go in there, that was like the dare.
I didn't realize that it was like a family. I thought it was like a group of little people who had like.
A lot of people would drive to it and look up the hill and see it all abandoned, and it was spooky. And that was as far as they would go. But no, we actually went inside it. We mustered up the courage to go up that hill and go in it. And most people would stop at the bottom of the hill and just like, oh, we're here. Okay, we can say we're here. Bye. You know, and that was it. Because it was a spooky place, a very creepy place. So kind of wish it was
Good story.
wish it was still there. But modern advancement.
Little People Mansion.
Yeah.
All righty. Jose, you want to tell us one of your favorite urban legends?
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change the background real quick because it kind of fits into the story I'm about to tell you guys.
Oh.
So let me just start off by telling you guys that I'm not a very, I'm very skeptical about a lot of things. I don't believe in ghosts. I mean, I do believe in like aliens and stuff, that the aliens exist. But when it comes to ghosts and things like that and urban legends, I'm real skeptical about it. And I think it's fun when I hear the stories, but I really don't believe a lot of stuff. I'll tell you guys a story about something that happened to me maybe about, 25, 30 years ago. And I really don't tell a lot of people this because a lot of people, they'll tease me about it. And it's all right if they tease me about it, but...
You'll know we'll be doing it.
Oh, yeah, I know you guys are going to be doing it. That's all right. It's okay. But I would say like maybe about 25 years ago or so when I was a young pup. One time I was coming... Hold on. Somebody's at the door. Sorry, guys. Sorry, for real. There's somebody at the door.
Oh, okay. I thought it was that thing behind you.
You can have Victor tell a story.
Creepy looking thing behind you.
All right, I'm gonna have to step off for a little bit. All right.
I think he beat me with the scariest looking thing behind
That
me.
is creepy. That is creepy.
Do you want to wait for him or move on to Victor and he can come back?
The land shark came for him.
Well, I guess Victor, you can go. I don't know how long he's going to take.
I can.
I can go a long, not short. I know Victor will probably be a long time.
Go, Susan. Go.
Well, no, I don't have any stories because, like,
Well, you said you had a short one.
No, you told me to.
Oh.
I mean, I've been there twice. One during the day and one at night. And yeah, I experienced. Oh, this is the railroad, the haunted railroad tracks in San Antonio, down on Shane Road.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, or was, I don't know. Belinda, is there still tracks
They're still
there?
here. I live like a long block away from them, like a block and a half, and they're still there. But they have been redesigned.
Mm-hmm.
For what stupid reason, I don't know, but yeah. So they're still here. They're just not going to be as haunted as they used to be.
Do people still? I wonder, still people go?
I haven't seen anybody, but who knows?
Yeah.
So you're saying there are kinder, gentler railroad tracks?
Say what now?
You're saying there are kinder, gentler railroad tracks?
Oh, they're kinder, gentler. Yes, they're not
As haunted as they used to
not
be?
as haunted. So, Susan is telling us the story of the railroad tracks.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it was my parents. They came to drop off something, so I had to.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
You have
No
to
problem. Go.
yourself now. You have to get off the car and push it yourself.
But she's
Probably.
right.
All right, Susan.
No. I don't know if we experienced it when it was daylight. I can't remember. I was with a bunch of people, so who knows what we were doing. We were just driving everywhere. At night, yeah, I did. It didn't move, but I mean, I've seen even ghost adventures have come here to see that.
Yeah.
And other paranormal investigators have proven it's basically the story is that there was a school bus, children, and different stories. Ones where they're coming home from a field trip, and the bus stalled on the tracks. And I didn't hear this. That I just thought, it is hard to hear a train, believe it or not, coming at you. But apparently the light was off of the train, so you didn't see it, and they didn't get the kids out in time. So it did hit. I also heard that the streets around there were named after the kids.
They are.
Yep.
But
There's a whole neighborhood behind the tracks that it's got 2 names per street, and there's
names like Cindy Lou and exactly.
All those. They're all named.
Isn't Cindy Lou from The Grinch?
She is from The Grinch, but something to that effect. Cindy Sue. I think it's Cindy Sue. I can't remember.
Uh-huh.
I see the streets. I just never really looked at the names, but I do know they have names that probably were like popular back in the 50s, which is probably when the whole legend started. But anyway, continue.
Yeah.
Not
then. Yeah, so hearing the story, ooh, yeah. But the times I went with my friends, we didn't have the talcum powder, but it wouldn't have worked because we didn't clean the car, and that was another reason they I don't want to say I'm not a believer of ghosts, it's just they've proven that the level of the ground is not actually downward, and it's the trees that throws people off. The trees grew away that it looks even, so it looks you're being pushed over the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also they haven't been able to find any stories about a bus crash. So I don't know. I'm sorry, I just don't believe that one's true. I think it's the way the road is made and the way the visual of the trees throws people off.
It was an optical illusion type thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's such a gradual.
The grade of the street was
That's the word I was looking for. The grade of the street was just so gradual, and it gives you that illusion that it's a straight, even plane, and it's not. Your car will roll forward, but you're under the impression that if you come to a complete standstill, that the car starts moving by itself.
right.
Then you get to that point close to the tracks where you get enough momentum and you go over the tracks. And it for teenage kids late at night, it's an eerie thing. And then the thing with the talcum powder, people say, yeah. But if you put powder on any bumper, you're going to see fingerprints. And they're probably your own or your kids or somebody's, unless you're real good about waxing your car on a daily basis. Every car has,
So the story out there, readers, is that you're supposed to clean off your car. Although people really don't do that. They just throw a ton of baby powder all over the place, all over the back bumper or the back, like the trunk area of your car. And so it appears that you're going downhill, your car starts moving, you're really not going downhill. So they say that it's the spirits of these little kids that are pushing your car out of the way. And when you finally move and you're out of the way of the railroad tracks, you get out, you look at your car, and you're supposed to have all these little fingerprints because most of the talcum powder has, kind of fallen off. But really, it's just your body oils. The
fingerprints of the little kid that lost their life. track.
Yeah, they used to line up. There would be cars lined up during this time, right before Halloween, like for blocks, just trying to get to the railroad. Yeah, to the railroad crossing, and apparently that is why they redesigned the tracks so that it wouldn't do that anymore. And this just happened like in the past couple of years. But really, come on, people. It was only during Halloween, and give kids a break and give them some fun for a week in a year. The rest of the year, there's nobody out here. So, you know, it's like...
It goes back to how easily we were able to amuse ourselves before roller coasters.
Yeah.
Now, that was our ride. Get in line because we're going to... It's our turn.
Haunted hayride. Let's get in the car. Let's go to the railroad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jose's back now.
Huh?
Jose's back now. Maybe he can finish the story.
Oh, yes. We need to know the story about that creepy ass looking thing behind you. Because
I was building it up, and then I was like, ah. Stop.
So what was your story, Jose?
Okay, so like I was saying, this happened about 25, 30 years ago or so. So I'm out one night with some friends, and after I was done, I was going to go home, and maybe about 2 or 3 in the morning, I'm driving home. And my parents lived a little bit outside of the south side of San Antonio. So there's an area where there's a neighborhood, but it's kind of surrounded by a bunch of rural area. It's a rural area, but there's a neighborhood just happens to sit there right in the middle of this rural area. And there's a lot of there used to be a lot of small farms. It's a lot developed now. You have a lot of apartments, and there's more houses there and businesses. But back then it was pretty much just kind of empty. And so I'm driving home. I'm by myself. It's maybe like around this time of the year where it starts to cool off a little bit, because I remember having the windows down. And I was living with my parents, so I'm on the way. And as I'm going down the highway, I see this thing run across the highway. Now, it didn't run like a human. It didn't run on 2 legs. It ran on 4 legs. And it wasn't a cat, even though it kind of looked a little bit like a cat, but it was large enough and long enough to go from one end of the highway to the other end. So, the highway's like 2 lanes plus a little bit of a shoulder. So this thing was running on all 4s, and it looked like a human. It looked like a person, but completely covered in hair, and not long hair, but short hair. Okay, like almost just a little bit like kind of like a cat, sort of, but not exactly. And it was all like a white, blondish kind of hair. And when it ran across, it looked right into the car, into the headlights. Remember, this is like 2 or 3 in the morning. It was on a Saturday night, and the thing ran across. But I didn't stop. I mean, I'm not going to stop to see what the hell this thing is, right? I'm like, shit, no, I'm going to keep going. So I kept going, and I get off the exit off the highway, and it happened to be like right there by the exit of the highway. So I go home, and of course I'm scared. I'm having, like, for a few nights, I'm thinking this thing's like standing outside my window. I could see it at night, like standing there looking in through the blinds. But I never told anybody about this. I just thought people would think I'm crazy, because I saw it. I swear to God. I mean, I saw this thing, and like I told you guys, I'm very skeptical about a lot of things, but I saw this thing run across the highway. So then maybe a few months go by, and it's about, I think it was New Year's Eve, and a buddy of mine and his girlfriend were at my house, and we were going to take off to go to a party. So we get in my car again, and we're driving, and this time we're getting on the highway, but from the opposite side of the highway. And as we're getting on, actually it was 2 of my buddies, and one of them was in the passenger side. The other one was in the back with his girlfriend. So of course they were kind of busy, but we were driving, and we're talking up in the front. And as we're driving, I see that thing, but this time on the opposite side of the highway, run across. And this time somebody's there in the car with me. This time my buddy's there. He's in the passenger seat with me. And so we're driving, and we don't say anything. I mean, we're both like completely just kind of like that kind of thing, like where you're like, did you see what I said? But I'm afraid to tell him, because I'm afraid to tell him. And then he tells me, well, I didn't see anything. And then I sound like a dumbass. So we drive for about 5 minutes until I finally got the courage to tell him, "Did you see that?" And he just goes, "Yep." And so we both kind of like once we got to the party and everything, it's New Year's Eve. We still didn't talk about it until later. And so I told him the story. I told him that I had seen it, and he was kind of freaked out a little bit. Now the people in the back didn't see it because, like I said, it was my friend and his girlfriend, so they were kind of distracted, and so they didn't see anything. And so I didn't want to say anything. My buddy didn't want to say anything because we thought people would think we're crazy. So again, let's kind of like. Months go by, I don't see anything. I'm traveling. I'm coming home at night. I'm looking for it, but I don't see it. So maybe about another year goes by. I'm at a buddy's house. My friend is there, the one that saw it. There's more of us there, and my buddy, he's kind of mixed. His dad's white and his mom's Mexican, and we're at their house and we're drinking, and his dad comes out, and his dad is this older white gentleman. And a real kind of Southern, real Texas kind of guy. And we're telling these scary stories, right? Everybody's sharing these stories about the lechuza, that they saw it, and, this owl thing, and, that they saw ghosts. We talked about the midget mansion. And his dad, my buddy's dad is there, and he hears a story that I'm telling. And his dad used to work for it was one, I guess it was like CPS here, or one of those companies, like a utility company here in San Antonio. And he said when he heard the story, when I got done with it, he stops and he's standing there and he's telling us that he had a similar experience in the same exact location, or more or less in the same exact location. So he's driving this truck in the middle of the night. He says he sees this thing and he sees it run into the same area where I saw it run into. And there used to be a lot of there was like a small little pond there. The people that lived in that area right across from that highway had sheep, and I guess they had the pond for the sheep, maybe, I don't know, and it had like these reeds that would come out of the water. So he said that he saw this thing run across the highway and into the reeds where the pond was at, and he actually stopped. And he said he got down and he took out a flashlight, because this was in the middle of the night, and he flashed it into the reeds, and that he could see it. He said he could see its eyes kind of glowing like a cat in the middle of the night, but it looked like a man. It looked like a human, and that he was like, hey, get out of there, like kind of telling the thing to come out of there, but that it looked like it was sort of like it couldn't really stand the light, and that eventually it kind of jumped out of the pond or something. I don't know where it took off, but he said he saw it run away and take off. And so now I have two other people besides myself that confirmed that they've seen this thing. And so, this is before the internet or anything, so we couldn't really research to see if anybody else had ever seen it. And so I told people this story throughout the years, and of course some people laugh and, they thought it was crazy. But it wasn't until like about 4 or 5 years ago that I'm telling the story to my stepson's girlfriend, and she's kind of there at the end afterwards, and she's kind of listening to the story. And so she starts to tell me about this thing that she saw online on YouTube. And so it's a video of this guy, and he captured a video of this thing, whatever, and it looked very similar. It looked very similar to the thing that I saw. And again, running into the bushes, and it's kind of looking at him as there with the camera. And of course, people are kind of like, what is that? And the thing eventually runs away. But she showed me the video, and it said that it was, I forget what the title of the video was, something like Fallen Angel or some Fallen Demon or some weird title on it. But it looked a lot like the thing that I saw. And I've never had, like I said, I never had any experience with ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in those sorts of things. And, I believe there's like a logical explanation for everything. But this thing, I saw it, and I saw it twice. Like I said, I saw it twice, once by myself, once with a friend. And I have people that have confirmed that they've seen it. Now the area that's there now is it's full of stuff. There's like a gas station there. The people that own that farm eventually sold it. So there's a gas station there. There's an apartment. There's a Jack in the Box. There's like several other things in that area. And so that place is gone. But I never saw it again, and I don't know if anybody has ever seen it. But I saw that thing, and it scared the crap out of me.
Can you repeat the location? You may have mentioned it and just slipped.
So
Yeah.
it's here in San Antonio off of 410 and Poteet Highway, Highway 16.
I was
And like I said, back then it was kind of a rural area, so there were a lot of farms. There wasn't a lot of that gas station wasn't there. It was pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, so it's out there on Highway 16 going out towards Poteet. And my parents' neighborhood happens to be just like right there in the middle of all this farming area. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I was in the middle of the night, and then at first I thought it was maybe it's because I'm drunk, but then when I saw it with my friend, then I was sober. Then that's when I was able to confirm that I did see what I saw, and he saw what he saw, but you know, it's unexplainable. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it. Even to this day, I don't know, and I never saw it again.
It could have been like, you know, back in the day, people, you know, before there were laws against such things, people would have like apes, pets, and it wasn't like.
Because it was thin like a human, kind of like the one I have here. I mean, this is the closest that I could, a picture image that I could find of it. I'm sure it's not like a real one, but it was thin and it was like a human. It looked like a human. It didn't look like an ape, but the way it ran on all fours, kind of like an animal, and it turned its head just enough so that it could catch the lights of my headlights, and I mean, but it ran fast enough where I didn't hit it either. So I don't know what it could have been. It was big. It was bigger than a cat. I know it wasn't a cat because it was stretched out across 2 lanes on the highway. It was pretty long.
Wow.
That's usually the reaction I get from when I tell people that story.
So I know it's Victor's turn, but a quick comment. So Jose doesn't believe in any spirit or ghosts or afterlife. I had a friend. She was like Jose. She got a job at the Menger working in the bar.
Oh my gosh.
The way I remember the story is it's late at night. She's restocking or doing inventory after midnight or after the bar closed. She's down in the basement, storage, cellar room, and something spooked her to the point where she's now a believer. So I'm wondering if we need to lock Jose down in the basement store.
The Munger Hotel.
See what he hey. You can check into one of the rooms because apparently a couple of the rooms are haunted there too. So
that's what they say. Yeah, the Munger Hotel is it's just
experiment we could try with Jose and see what he has to report back to us. Maybe.
For those of you that aren't aware, we have a hotel in the middle of downtown San Antonio. That's it's called the Munger Hotel, and
it was the premier
known for being like one of the most haunted places in town. It's a very nice. I mean, I wouldn't expect to find ghosts there because it's just very ritzy, very nice.
It's a historic hotel going back to what, I don't know, the 1800s.
Yeah, like the 1800s also. Yeah.
It was the premier hotel in San Antonio. It's right next to the Alamo. But before all these Marriotts and Hiltons came along, that's where the well-to-do would go.
Right.
And shakers.
There's a bar there that Teddy Roosevelt used to recruit the Rough Riders.
Teddy Roosevelt recruited his Rough Riders to chase Pancho Villa back into Mexico.
Yeah.
And people say that they've seen his ghost there.
Babe Ruth, there's a picture of Babe Ruth out in front of the Menger. It's where all the sports and movie stars,
dignitaries
would go when they came to San Antonio. They stayed at the Menger.
At the Munger.
Yeah, and that Menger bar is pretty interesting. If you want to go check it out, we have to make arrangements to get.
I've had a drink
overnight pass in the bar for Jose. Either he's gonna come back and say I'm still skeptical, I still don't believe, or he's gonna come back and say I'm a change.
But I did see this weird creature.
It's gonna be like the Cowardly Lion. I do believe it.
I saw what I saw.
I do believe.
All right. So who's
Well,
next?
yeah, I don't think I would have gotten out of my car to go look for it.
Well, now it's on the record. So
Yes.
There you
because
go.
there's been a story I only tell a few people, and like I said, now it's on the record. It's on here, and it's gonna
But
be out. And
But you mentioned that there is like video, that somebody took video and it's on YouTube?
yeah, and and when I saw the video, I was a little skeptical about it too, because it looked like somebody had, I don't know, maybe done it with like some sort of editing or computer CGI. I don't really know, but it did look a lot like the thing that I saw. If you guys look it up on YouTube, I think it was under like
I
Fallen
think it's
Angel.
an escape monkey from somewhere. I don't know. For a second, I really did. I thought you were talking about like the
That place where they did
ape
experiments.
enclosure, yeah, at Southwest Research Institute.
Southwest Research, yeah.
Yeah. But, apparently, no, because that's way out of the way. But who knows?
I don't know. But several people saw it on different. Someone else saw it on a different occasion.
Yeah.
So.
And your friends were too busy macking out in the back seats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what people they had cell phones and YouTube video.
So, Victor, I don't know which story you're going to tell. You started telling us about.
Yeah, the Onion House. But
Yeah.
I'm going to tell a different story.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I live out in the Leon Valley area, and this story supposedly occurred back in the 50s, 1950s, because this area was all pretty much just ranches and farms and just rural. There was no development out here at all. I think 410 wasn't even built. They're in the process of being built. So this is all scrub, and maybe people would go hunting and stuff like that. And Leon Creek runs through here, and there's a pond that's near Leon Creek. I don't know if it's connected to Leon Creek, but it's a fairly decent sized pond. And back in the 50s, there were some families that had the kids go to school, and they'd ride the school bus to school. And there was a road that went past the pond, not a paved road certainly, but just a road. And on one occasion, the bus blew a tire as it was driving past the pond. The driver lost control of the bus, and the bus went into the pond and ended up upside down. And unfortunately, everybody in the bus perished. Because being rural, there's no, communication like we have today. So, people didn't come home. Where's so and so? They were at school. Where they followed the bus route. And eventually, they found the bus. And by then, of course, everyone was gone. So eventually they pulled the bus out of the pond, and all the bodies and all the funerals were held and everything like that. But ever since then, strange things have been happening around that pond. People have gone missing around that pond. People go hiking or fishing or hunting or whatever, and they don't come back. And it always occurs somewhere near the pond. And when they're looking for people, sometimes they would find clothing in or near the pond. And they swear, well, that's what he was wearing, okay, when he left the house, but they could never find a body, okay? Very suspicious, very unusual, very creepy. So eventually, people stopped going around there. They just figured it was haunted, something was going on creepy that people just stayed away from it. So over time, development came. Streets started being built, schools started being built, neighborhoods started being built, the land started being cleared, and it is what it is today. It's a big, busy, bustling area. Now they've got these trailheads that go all through the parks, the river and the creeks and everything. And the disappearances have kind of stopped. However, when people hike on these trails, they go past the pond. And every now and then, they find a tire in the pond, even though there's really no roads that go by there anymore. And when they pull the tire out, because obviously you want to keep the area clean, it's a blown tire. And it's for a bus. So that's the legend, like what's going on with that. There's no answers to these questions. You know, where those people go? Why is there a random tire in the pond that's there's no wheeled traffic other than bicycles go through there anymore? You know, how did it get there? I guess you could assume somebody's who might know the history is pulling a prank or something like that, but it just seems, you know, they have rangers, park rangers and stuff that go through there occasionally, and you know, you'd think they'd catch somebody, but this has been going on for a while now. Every now and then there's a tire in the pond, you know. So that's the story that I heard.
And where is this? Did you say? Like what area of Leon Valley?
Near Leon Creek. Yeah, Leon Creek runs through Leon Valley, and now they have these trails that go, bike trails, walking, hiking trails that go through there now. And they even close it after dark. They close those parts of the, you know, because they don't want people going through there in the dark. There have been some people actually killed there, hikers, but yeah, and they've caught the murderers, the people who are, there's bad people around, you know. And there's one other story where there's a cliff, a girl fell off a cliff, but that had nothing to do with the pond, you know. But it's along those similar trails that there's this pond, and that has a history. But this, like I said, occurred way back in the 50s.
I'm trying to remember the name of the park.
It's along the Leon Creek Beltway, and some of the parks that get connected is at Beach Naval Park is one of them.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah.
It's near that park, but now the trails have trailhead names, and I can't remember the name.
Oh, okay.
Things of the trailhead.
I've ridden my mountain bike through there, and they go in different directions, but you can take those trails all the way from, and they've even gone past UTSA now. The other side of 1604, they're doing a whole new park out behind the
I've actually walked past that pond. Now, I was during the day and nothing happened. At the time, I didn't know the history. But since then, I found out, like, oh, really? All that's happened, you know, because it's a pond there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Wow.
won't go there at night.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good place to go at night. But during the day, it's full of people fishing, jogging, riding bikes. That's
Yeah, definitely somewhere you want to be with a buddy. Yeah. Okay, well, that was a story that I hadn't heard. Interesting. My story, I don't know which one to tell. I don't know. I don't have like an actual ghost story that I've experienced or anything like that. I can just tell you some of the urban legends from around town. You know, we've got obviously the donkey lady. You know, I don't. We've got the donkey lady. Y'all can look these up because I'm not going to tell you every story. We've got the donkey lady. We've got, there's actually a phone number you can call.
Is the donkey lady? I remember that.
Yeah.
Is it the same as La Llorona?
No, it's very similar, but it's not that. And then there's the Chinese woman at the Chinese, what is it? The
Chinese graveyard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Chinese graveyard too.
Graveyard, yeah. There you go.
There's a place off of I-10 going towards Houston, a bridge. It's called Woman Hollering Creek.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you remember?
That's close to La Llorona.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was people would say that.
That one's different. That one's not the donkey lady.
Okay.
Get
them all confused.
And there's a phone number you can call. And right around it, they usually have the line open in like October, November, and you can hear the donkey lady answer the phone. She mumbles something that's just you can't understand. It's gibberish. I don't understand what she's saying.
She got so popular, they set up a 1-800 number for her.
Yeah, so you can call every year right around Halloween.
Well, I remember calling a number, and it was just like screeching, and that was yeah, it was just the noise that you would get.
It was just noise, yeah. It was just like gibberish in the background that you can't understand what they're saying. But yeah, that's supposedly the Donkey Ladies.
I remember that phone number. I don't remember the number, but I remember as a kid.
It's online. I'm sure you can find it easily. Yeah.
One of my friends dialing it up and was passing around the phone.
I heard the donkey lady ran away with the elephant man.
With the elephant man. I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that's what happened. Although it probably happened around the same time. But so that's one of our urban legends. We also have apparently there's ghosts at the Majestic Theater. Majestic Theater is the premier theater in town for Broadway plays, that are traveling and visiting the area. Also for some some big name stars who come out. You'll see people like
it's a beautiful theater.
Sean and Penn and Teller. Why am I saying Sean? Penn and Teller, and they have shows there, and so that's supposed to be haunted. There are certain areas in the theater that you will feel like cold air around you, and that you will hear like noises or experience something. Although I never had that pleasure, but that's supposedly haunted. What else? I've never experienced, anything like that, but definitely been creeped out by things, but I know that they're explainable. It's like, what did that? Oh, okay, it was just, the cat or whatever. But nothing that I would say definitely was a ghost.
I'll explain it. It was a ghost.
It was a ghost.
That couldn't be explained.
So there's a ton of urban legends here, local ones. Probably one of the most famous ones. One of you guys was talking about this, I guess yesterday. The devil who visits the ballroom.
The dance hall on the west side.
The dance hall, the dance hall devil. And
he had a chicken foot and a goat's foot.
Oh, okay. Well, see, in the versions I hear, he's either got chicken feet or goat's feet, not one of each. But,
you're probably right. One or the other. Pick one, right?
Yeah. But apparently that started here. But I know that there are other cities in the United States that also have similar stories.
Yeah.
Where this good-looking, handsome devil, waltzes across the room to a young girl, and they start dancing the night away, and she looks down and she sees, these chicken feet at the bottom.
Or goat's feet.
Or goat's feet.
Or one of each.
Goat's hooves. And it's the devil, and then he just kind of disappears, and she's left like super scared.
Disappears, and when they turned on the lights, there was a pile of sulfur where he was standing.
Oh, I hadn't heard about the sulfur thing. So.
Yeah, it can't be.
That's a nice touch to add on. So yeah, there's we can't see it. I think
I was going to say the little.
There you go. You
got the chicken foot, and then the hoof.
There you go.
Oh, that's where.
I got that from someone.
That's from our Mexican Loteria bingo cards. So yeah, if it's on there, it's got to be true.
That confirms it.
So yeah, but that was fun. I enjoyed listening to some new stories that I had never heard. I need to. I'm really intrigued by Jose's stories. Like, I gotta look that up and pull up some YouTube video and see if that's true or not.
Yeah, We got to see the video.
Yeah. Yep.
Because every video on YouTube is true. None of that
Including
stuff
this
is.
one, which will be
You
on.
got seeing is believing, right?
Yeah. So, but that definitely interesting stories to hear. So any other last stories? I think we've gone over, part of that was because we had that little technical glitch on my end, recording, but anything else y'all want to add or talk about, or,
Give a story about asking, but I think that has something to do with something else.
with something else.
You were talking about the donkey lady. I heard about the ass man, but that's another
Oh
story.
my God. Oh my goodness.
Donkey lady,
Ass man.
Llorona,
La Llorona, La Lechuza, and
Chupacabra. I think
Chupacabras, yeah.
Jose might have seen the Chupacabra.
It might have been it, like an early sign of the Chupacabra. Never
Well,
know.
that farm that was there, they had sheep.
I don't think a sheep looks like a partial human, though.
But it's not. No. I'm saying maybe the thing was feeding off of the sheep. I don't know. It was.
Eating off of
Could have been the Chupacabra.
It was a chupacabra. It was a chupa sheep.
Back in the 70s, they used to say that there was a Bigfoot out around Kelly Air Force Base. So maybe
There
he
was what?
traveled down south to that area.
Bigfoot.
Maybe.
Bigfoot.
I'm sorry, I'm automatically going political humor, but I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Well, that whole area right there by Kelly was a densely wooded area for a long
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Hence the name Edgewood, Edge of the Woods.
Edge of the woods.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's not like the barbacoa.
Yeah.
I still have to substantiate that, save my journalistic.
Holy cow. Now we got chupacabras behind Jose. I'm still being attacked by a crazy guy here. But yeah, so well, I don't know. That was a very interesting episode, and it was fun. I liked hearing all the stories. I'm sorry about the glitches at the beginning, but
It happens. Technology.
technology. Hopefully, we won't have those kinds of problems for our Halloween show. Everything was going to go smoothly, right?
Yes.
All righty. Well, I guess that's another episode. And anybody want to take one last shot for our dear departed friends? Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to everyone. There we go. At some
I
point.
do have one afterthought.
What's that?
If we ever get together after this pandemic and work on short films or anything again, we should try to recreate that handsome devil guy. And I think Jose would fit the part perfectly. Just put him in a tuxedo and
Let me see your feet, Jose.
I don't know if you guys remember Victor, Belinda. One time we had a meeting and I pitched you guys an idea about that.
Yes,
It was supposed
I
to be like
remember.
there you
a
go.
support group for urban legends.
Yes.
And that guy was going to be there. You're going to have La Llorona there crying all the time. I don't want to give away too much because someone might steal my idea, but
While you were chasing the little kids from the railroad tracks around.
there you go. And they keep interrupting the kids running around.
Definitely. I think we should do that.
Donkey lady.
That's funny. Yes. Did not hear that pitch, but there you go. That's
Yeah, there we go.
very good.
All righty. Well, I guess that's it for today, and we will be back in a couple of weeks to do our Halloween show. And I think these two are probably going to be back to back, so we might end up flip flopping them. So you're hearing about the Halloween show, after the fact, but but that's okay.
Or you might see the Halloween show for Thanksgiving. We'll see how
Hopefully it won't take that long. Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Nightmare Before Christmas. It'll have.
we're all over the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You know,
okay.
It's coming along. It's coming along, and
Instead of a turkey, we'll have a chupacabra for the beach.
Oh, well, it's time for my barbacoa because I have not eaten since yesterday.
Oh my!
So I'm gonna go and have some very late. At this point, it's almost dinner time, but who knows? I guess that's it, and we'll meet again. And until then, I guess everybody stay safe and be well and take care.
Wear your masks.
Wear your masks. That's
There you go.
right.
Bye, everybody.
Tell them, Susan. Tell them. And stay away from those chupacabras and handsome devils. Okay.
Donkeys.
It was fun. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye. It was good hearing your stories. Bye, guys. Bye, Susan.
Bye.
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 Bye.